Welcome to the Paisans podcast. We're your hosts, the brothers from other mothers, Dante, Dave, and Sark. Join us as we talk about current events, our wives, kids, or whatever else life is throwing at us this week. You're with the Paisans, you're with family. What's happened for me now that I got my Mac is I got it set up. I have both screens working now, and I have YouTube, I have Netflix. I can stream music from I have a big boombox, underneath it, so I can switch the audio to be that, or I could switch the audio to be my headphones. And I can sit here late at night and nobody hears what I'm watching. I can sit in my chair over here, with my keyboard and stuff, and I can go through YouTube videos. I can watch Amazon Prime. I can watch anything I want. It's effectively television through my computer in my office, but it's like my monitor screens. It's all the same, It's like, I don't know. I think when I set up my next house where I'll have my own space, I'm going to have an office area where I'm going to have the television. I'm sorry, my monitors. I guess I will still have a TV. I'll want a TV for things just like football games and stuff. So I won't just want to have this.
That's pretty much what you want it for, I think, mostly is like games. Like think about Super Bowl.
Yes.
If you want to watch that's the thing that everyone gathers around the TV for still. There's still going to be those events. Mostly sports though. When it comes to that, like Super Bowl, maybe college football championship, like World Series.
Yes.
That's the stuff you're going to watch.
I suspect I'll have to figure out some solution to watching local games or games like that. But, you can set up just a digital antenna. I mean, you can have a digital antenna and you'll get digital.
You'll get the Jets games that are, on CBS or Giants games on Fox, whatever.
Yes. But I also think that they're going to come up with a solution beyond just what's on YouTube, beyond just, the Sunday ticket package. I think NFL's going to, over time, come up with something so that you can watch games from any market at a reasonable cost.
I'm guessing that the NFL has some sort of contract with CBS, ESPN, whatever. Well, now with Amazon Prime, but now they have all these different days of games, right? So Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. Seems like Amazon owns Thursday Night Football. They're trying to get that Amazon, that Black Friday game, Amazon now. So now I feel like the NFL has kind of bid themselves out, almost each respective day. But I feel like at some point these contracts will end. And then they can, I guess, do what they want. But I mean, I don't know. We've talked about this before.
Conversation.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
I know. It's going to be interesting to see, Dave. I wonder what the business model is. I don't know for sure. I will tell you, it can understand how they might want you make the big contract with CBS, with Fox, with Amazon, because that's known revenue. That's a bird in the hand. So you're going to get this much per year next year, this much per year the following year. So you can budget based on that. And then you can, you have lesser known, but you can project your revenues based on, product sales, yada, yada, yada. I just wonder if there's still not, at some point, are they going to decide that they want a bigger piece of the pie each week by not relying on anybody to do the broadcast? They already have the NFL network, so they have the production capabilities. They have the ability to film every game, to broadcast. They could easily hire somebody. I mean, they already have broadcasters, but they could easily pay the same people who work for Fox and CBS.
They already do film every game, by the way. NFL Films is a thing.
There you go. Good point.
NFL Films, I think they do at every game, pretty sure.
Right. So, I mean, again, look, somebody who's better at this than us, hopefully will come up with some solution. Maybe there is a shared content agreement for a couple of years where they're going to, if a user says, look, I don't care that it's on CBS for free, I'm going to pay X per year to get every Jets game, regardless of where I am, to the NFL app. The NFL will allow you to do that, and they'll still sell the CBS. I don't know. Maybe, again, I'm making this up. Maybe they offer CBS some type of a discount where they say, basically, we're going to prorate you a cost. So when all the people who are subscribing to watch on YouTube, blah, 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 we're going to reimburse you, that cost per game. You know what I'm saying? Crunching the numbers to come up so that hypothetically CBS goes, no, that's fair. If you can tell us, if you basically say to us, you're going to give us half the money back because you got a huge number of people watching it online through your app and not through us. All right. Like, we're still going to get a huge audience. We're still going to sell all the ad revenue. And when I sell to Pepsi or when I sell to, XYZ company, I don't have to tell them that I'm getting reimbursed if not enough people watch the show, in the short term. So all this to say, like, I would think that stuff is all work outable. But if you're the NFL, is your long-term vision to own all production and ability to and why not? Why not offer like highlights with ads and things like you could still have the NFL app, not see your team every week, but maybe you can watch teams locally for free on the app. Like there's got to be ways that they make it so that, all right, I'm like Joe Blow in whatever, living near Kansas City, and all I want to watch are the Chiefs games. Why are you going to make me pay for that? Oh, you mean I can download the app and for free I can still watch the Chiefs game and I can cast it to my television? All right.
It's a good point.
Right?
Does what they're doing now feel like a testing of the market? Like the way that they have themselves spread across these services?
I don't know who's testing what. Is Amazon testing to decide, do they want to try and make a bid for, say, all NFL games? Like, or is the NFL just trying to reach people who they couldn't otherwise reach? Like, are they saying to these franchises, like, look, when you're on the Thursday night game, that's a national game. Monday Night Football, national. Sunday Night Football, national. Every team gets X number of national games per year or whatever it is. That's national exposure.
They always seem to be on a mission to be doing that. And now international.
I know a lot of people don't like Goodell, and I don't know everything he's done or all the reasons, and I'm not saying he's a great guy, but he has certainly grown the NFL. There's no denying that.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like Adam Silver, who I think in the NBA, the NBA is going in the opposite direction.
Seems that way.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I was actually, I don't, not to get off topic, but I when we talk about the NBA, I heard they're actually trying to make some sort of NBA Europe league, and I don't know how imminent that is, but I think they're trying to, do what they did in the US, kind of with the ABA and the NBA. I think they're trying to do that in Europe now, where they get some established clubs and kind of put them together in a league, which would be interesting. But
give it a shot.
it just seems like they're taking a lot on the NBA because they're floating the WNBA right now. And everything you hear about the NBA is that the ratings are dropping. So I would think that means they're losing. They're not making as much money maybe as they used to. So it just seems ambitious to try to also now round up these teams in Europe and try to create a European league. But
you got to improve the quality of the game.
Yeah,
got to improve the quality of the game. Period. And the quality of the game has deteriorated. It's deteriorated, and that's why people aren't paying attention. I've, as a fan from the 90s, and I called myself old school and Gen X so many times it doesn't bear repeating, but as a fan from that era, I watch the game today. To me, is unrecognizable. I mean, it's a bunch of guys taking 3-point shots, and it's isolation. It's a couple of fakes, step back, and 3-point shots. There's hardly any passing. The defense is a joke. And it's like they don't know. It's like they don't realize what the problem is. It's not that complicated.
Well, you can't even play defense.
No,
that's half the problem.
Right. That's right. And the legends are telling them too. The legends are telling them. I'm seeing one after the other on YouTube. These guys who are, Dominique, Shaq, certainly, Barkley. These guys are all coming on and they're saying the kid. Who would want to watch it? 160 something to 140 something. It's like, is anybody playing defense at all? No. It's a 3-point shootout.
Yeah, no one plays defense until the playoffs, basically.
That is boring, man. It's just like the beauty of that game is the guys who make the amazing assists. The most fun highlights to watch are Magic Johnson, the Williams kid, Chris Williams, White Chocolate.
Jason Williams.
Oh, man. There's others, too. John Stockton. You watch clips of those guys and the way that they come up the court. Magic with that, the looking this way and passing that way. It's just, wow. It's just amazing. It's so beautiful, too.
Magic Johnson. That's rebounding. to Cooper. And look at the speed. He saw Robertson waiting to get the timing to go up for the block. He knew the Cooper.
Because you like court vision and there's the ability to deliver the ball right where you want it. I saw a clip of Jason Williams, like it might have been this morning, and he was talking about how he learned exactly how his teammates liked to shoot the ball, like to have the ball when they would shoot it. So he would deliver the ball to them so they would receive it just like how they like it to shoot it. So he was talking about certain players who need the ball, like the seams in a certain space. And so when he would deliver the ball to them, he would make sure that he would deliver it so that when they received it, they got the seams that way. I was like, on top of everything else that the brain is registering in real time, he's also putting spin on the ball so that it lands to him in a certain way. Like,
speaking about Jason Williams specifically, I mean, if you've seen his highlight tape, for him to be thinking about all of that while he's delivering the passes that he's delivering, he's throwing it behind his head to someone that's, over this shoulder, but he's throwing it over this way. And, like regularly with ease.
Yes.
And
with accuracy.
And his, ball handling too for that guy is just incredible.
Yes.
But I mean, the passes that he's throwing and actually, now that you're saying that, Dante, it's like he is every single one of them that I'm thinking of is like perfect pass to someone who can like basically catch the ball and just like put it into the basket or dunk it or just like be for a wide open three. Like,
yep.
Every single one of them.
And those are the ones you watch. When you look that up on YouTube and you start to watch it and you're like, I could watch this all day. It's so exciting. It's so fun because you don't know where the ball is going to go. And that's the cool part is like, you don't know what is, but then when you see where it goes, you're like, oh my God, how did he see that guy? Like I didn't see that guy. That's why it's so fun. He does the thing, Dave, where he hups the ball up behind himself and then he bops it with his elbow behind himself. And then it like goes in the direction where, so he'll like, sort of, like he's dribbling, boom. And then he'll go, like, it's like right to his guy, boom, shot. Like, awesome. But that's not the game anymore. The game is somebody takes a shot, it clangs off the rim, bounces out, the guy gets it, takes 2 steps, passes it to his teammate, who's by the 3, takes it, shot, before anybody else even gets down the court. It's like,
I
what
think
are
how
we
many
doing?
misses too with the 3-point, like miss.
There's a ton. I mean,
sometimes
a good 3-point shooter is shooting about 40%. So I think they're missing 6 out of 10. But I mean, the biggest difference in the NBA game that you'll see, and I mean, it does go to college too, but when there's a fast break, they don't even go to the basket anymore. It's like someone's running to the corner every single time. And most of the time they're passing to that guy who's in the corner because that's what they want to do. Or someone will pull up and take a 3 and you're like, man, like I remember like that was not what you were ever taught to do when you learned to play basketball. You're taught like, if you have a breakaway, you just take it all the way in the basket and you lay it up.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But they don't even go for the easy 2 anymore. You see it all the time. These guys drive and clear shot to the hoop, 2 steps away, and they kick it out to your point, Dave, to the guy on the edge, guy on the corner. It's like, and all I can say is, okay, that's a way to play the game. It's not fun to watch, so enjoy playing it. I'm not watching.
Why is it coached that
a
way
shame.
now? They're just going for the bigger bang, go for the 3 over the 2, or like, is it just to avoid contact and injury more?
I think it's because they've gotten better at shooting, because you see someone like a Steph Curry who can, pull up from half court and swish it in, right? So I think ultimately these kids that are coming up now are just taking more shots and they're getting better at shooting. So I think they've gotten better, but I don't know. I just think that it's gotten carried away. Because now it's like every position, and Dante, this maybe with Joey a little bit, it's like even the big guys, they expect them to shoot.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right, Dave. I was going to make that point earlier. It's like everybody on the court, including the center, is expected to make 3-point shots. You started seeing some of these guys, these real tall dudes who were able to shoot. And it was like, all right, look at this, like and I get the value of that because you can keep you can keep the defense on its toes. But at the fact that you got, these huge centers, 7'2", and they're stopping to take a 3-point shot is like it's just dumb. Dunks are what make the game fun. Alley-oops are exciting. No-look passes are exciting. You know, men who look like trees or giant tree trunks shooting three-point shots over and over and over again is just not entertaining. Now, you may win games that way, and that may mean something, but that's not going to be entertaining. So I thought, Dave, you might say that they have made the rules so pro-scoring that it doesn't pay to play defense because you get foul after foul after foul.
Pretty true too, I think. I think so. I mean, I hate to say it too, but I mean, on a guy in the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, he kind of toes that line with how he plays because he's very herky-jerky and he's shifty, so he can stop on a dime and pull up a shot, but he's very smart, and he does that when he knows a defender's like very close to him. So it almost like defender's in a really tough spot because he's almost every time he's getting fouled in that situation. They've tried to make rules actually to kind of negate similar behavior. But so they have, I don't know all the rules. I'm certainly not an expert, but they've definitely made the game harder for the defense. But I mean, all these sports do that. We could talk about the NFL doing that too.
Yes,
absolutely.
Games are incredibly hard for the defense.
Yes, yes. I mean, I couldn't agree more as far as the NFL goes. It's the same thing. They're so pro offense, and I get it because scoring is exciting. But if scoring is so easy, you know, like I thought that the Bills-Chiefs game was just a little bit like, come on, guys, like this is really just a shootout.
So was that Lions game the week before. It was similar. It was like, okay, so whoever has the ball last wins the game.
Kind of feels like that. You know, just one. It's like almost like the old NBA where it's like every time somebody gets the ball, they score. It's really just a question of can you get that one or two turnovers that give you just enough of an edge that you can creep ahead. And, you know, they are so hard on the defense. In the NBA, you know, I remember watching Harden and Joey used to explain to me all the time, like, he would do this fallback jumper thing and he would kick his leg out. And if the defender hit his leg, they would call the foul on the defender. And they've since changed those rules because everybody started doing it. So everybody's taking the shot and kicking the leg out. And it's like they have to wait till the end of the season. And then everybody has to get together and discuss this and say, we're going to change the rule. We're going to like start calling it differently when players do this. But you got to say, like, gosh, guys, you need to have some ability to respond mid-season. Because these guys find a little trick and they just lean into it. Yeah. And it's one of those things that it's like, it's technically not against the rules. But if you're trying to sell this game as a product, you're going to have to change that because people don't give a shit. I'm sorry. You're taking a fade back jumper, you're taking an unwise shot because you covered, but you know you're going to get bailed out by the referee because you're going to draw contact. That's not exciting. It's just not exciting. The refs being over involved is not exciting. I mean, in the NFL, Dave, this is nothing more evident than in the NFL with the refs so over involved.
Yeah. I mean, it's all sports. You could make the comment about the refs in all sports because I mean now the Major League Baseball umpires are under a lot of fire because everyone's like, we just need robotic umpires calling balls and strikes because look at how bad these guys are. But going back to the point about offense, that's an American sports thing.
Yes.
And that's why soccer is not big here because there's not a lot of offense. The American sports watcher just doesn't have the patience to sit there for a 90-minute game where it scores 1-0 at the end. You know, I mean,
yes. Well, but there's got to be a happy medium, right? Like, you know, like the NFL and the NBA was fantastic in the 90s. I mean, it was a very physical game.
Yep.
But those guys were big and strong, and you know, it was at its peak. So they were doing something right. You know, and now the NFL, it's sort of the same thing. I think the NBA, you know, Michael Jordan was so huge that the fact that they kind of had the Jordan rules, you know, it didn't hurt them too bad. But what I think has progressed is like we had the Jordan rules, then we kind of had the Brady rules. And, you know, now we're in a place we have the Mahomes rules. I mean, it's unbelievable the calls that they make or don't make, you know, And it's very easy to start thinking, like, why is it can't be coincidence that the Chiefs seem to get every call.
Right.
You know, I think after the first, somewhere in the second half, they announced the Chiefs had like one penalty on them.
Yeah.
To that point in the game.
I mean, there's a laundry list of controversial calls in that game. If you if you search 2 seconds on social media right now, you'll find video after video just calling out just the very questionable, we'll call them, calls that went in the Chiefs' favor.
Yes. In the second half, there was a catch. That one play that they challenged that was ruled a catch after it was initially ruled a catch on the field. I mean, I see that and I'm like, what are they watching? Because it's clear as day on the camera that the guy's, he's got possession he's sort of clinging to possession as he goes down, but he hits the ground and the ball moves clear as day. So it's one thing to say they made the ruling on the field. You can't really tell in this, and so we have to leave it. That's one thing, but that was not the case. Mike, me and Dave, I don't want to say his name here on the go, but we have a friend who's we have a Jets thread, separately, and he's always like going on about how the NFL has favorites and how the NFL has its rules, and it's always the narrative must be followed. The Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
it's like,
oh yeah.
And look, they have to perform. They have to execute on the field, and they do. They're very good.
Yeah.
And they also seem to get every call. They get the benefit of every call. So
I mean, even that Josh Allen first down.
Yes, that was another one.
And we had no dog. I mean, like you guys, we had no dog in the fight.
Please, I hate the Bills.
Objectively.
I hate the Bills, but you have to say that's how I agree. It's just like I was talking to a friend last week who's an Eagles fan, and so he was saying, I said, well, if you win today, it was before the game, so I was like, well, if you win today, who would you rather play the next week, Buffalo or Kansas City? And he's like, well, the dog in me wants to go back and play the Chiefs again. I want to try a chance to beat them, but I wonder if it wouldn't be a little easier to beat the Bills, And I said, well, just remember that if you play the Chiefs, you're playing the Chiefs and the refs. And he's like, yeah, it's got to try. Believe me, it's going to be true.
Did you guys watch the Eagles Commanders game?
I did.
Parts of it.
Yeah, I watched it.
Did you happen to see, so you probably saw it then, Dave, I think the Eagles were first and goal. I mean, it was like a yard. And Washington had like 3 subsequent encroachment, offsides. And they were moving the ball, half the distance to the goal. And it got to the point where the football was almost touching the white line of the end zone and they couldn't advance it any further. And the one dude they consult whenever the refs have to review something, he's like,
Gene,
completely useless. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So he's like, I don't know. I think there's a rule somewhere in there where like the ref can actually award a touchdown to the other team if there's no further way to advance the ball. And sure enough, a minute later, the ref's like, if there's one more encroachment, we have the right to award a touchdown to Philadelphia.
At some point, the referee can award a score if this type of behavior happens again. For now, it's a replay of second down.
Mike, that's unbelievable.
Watch that come into play in this Super Bowl, by the way. Now that everyone knows about it, and the 2 teams that are in it, it's going to be the most BS situation because the Eagles are running that play. And it is just absurd. It is absolutely absurd when they run that play.
Yeah.
And
they just do it. Nobody else can run it. Like, why can nobody else run it?
They're just the best at it for whatever reason. They just figured it out, and they're the ones to do it because the Bills struggled with it. But the Chiefs also studied what the Bills would do, and Josh Allen goes to the left they were calling it out in the broadcast. They're like, yeah, they talked about this. Like, Josh Allen's going to sneak. He's going to go to his left every time. So they're just loading up the left.
Well, they had the guy in Washington was coming over the top. That's what he's trying to do because he knew.
It was Frankie Louvu, Dante, former Jet, if you remember him.
Yes, I do.
He's on Washington now. He himself got 2 where he jumped over the line because he was trying to read the snap. But then the Eagles also had no intention of snapping because I think they knew about this rule. So the third one, they were just sitting there, just not they were just hard counting, and then they got the Redskins to kind of jump off. The weird thing about that rule, though, is they were saying Washington was doing it intentionally, but what else is Washington to do there? You know, it's like
exactly.
Yeah,
what else are they supposed to do?
Like you said it before, when they told them like we can award points, they literally just like sat there and waited. So the Eagles were able to blow right through them.